The Law That Changed Women's Rights, a Kirralie Smith investigation, Ep.6, when disagreement became a legal risk. At what point does disagreement become unlawful? Most Australians assume they know the answer. Threats, harassment, intimidation. Few would defend such conduct. But what happens when the disagreement concerns public policy? What happens when citizens question decisions made by institutions? What happens when those questions concern protected characteristics created by law? For Kirralie Smith, those questions were no longer theoretical. They were becoming personal. This episode examines how a public dispute over women's sport moved beyond public debate and into legal processes, exposing the growing tension between the freedom of expression and anti-discrimination law. For decades, Australians largely understood political disagreement as part of democratic life. Citizens challenged governments, parents challenged schools, communities challenged institutions. The assumption was simple: public policy could be questioned. But the post-2013 legal environment introduced a new layer of complexity. Gender identity had become a protected characteristic under federal law. As public disputes intensified, the question became increasingly difficult. Where does legitimate criticism end? Where does unlawful conduct begin? And the answer was no longer merely social. It was becoming legal. As controversy surrounding women's sport expanded, complaint mechanisms became part of the battleground. Arguments were no longer confined to interviews, articles, community meetings, or social media discussions. They entered formal processes, investigations, legal submissions, and courtrooms. Supporters of Kirralie Smith viewed this development as evidence that women raising sex-based concerns were being subjected to increasing legal pressure. Critics argued that protections existed precisely because public conduct can cause harm. And both sides believed they were defining important principles. The deeper problem remained unresolved. How should democratic societies manage conflicts between protected identity claims and public criticism of public policy? The law offered procedures, but procedures could not eliminate the underlying disagreement, and the dispute continued growing. The pressure increased, and what began as a sporting controversy was steadily transforming into a national argument about speech itself. The conflict was no longer simply about women's sport. It had become a question about whether citizens could challenge institutional decisions without finding themselves drawn into legal warfare. In the next episode, we'll look at when competing rights finally collided in full public view.